According to Genesis in the Bible, when God created the universe, the earth was void and chaos, and darkness was upon the face of the deep. The Spirit of God moved over the surface of the waters. This symbolizes that water is an element that existed before God created everything else. Fuxing District's water purification system and the smart unmanned water purification plant officially began operations in Taoyuan. A Taiel pastor, Damu Daziner, conveys his utmost respect to the gods during the blessing ceremony. The cleanliness of the water here affects the safety of water in various areas of Taoyuan and Greater Taipei. When the water is clean, it may stir up the faint fragrance of peach flowers from time to time as it flows down from the mountains during spring blossoming. During the rice harvest season in summer and autumn, the water that flows into the canals and streams of the countryside has a faint rice fragrance. Taoyuan adopts a smart water purification system catering to local conditions by setting up small-scale community wastewater facilities in remote regions. Most of the domestic wastewater is diverted to the Water Reclamation Center, or purified using natural methods, such as river gravel and artificial wetland. When water is odorless, we can smell the fragrance of flowers and rice. Enjoy a cup of coffee on a lazy afternoon, or take a romantic walk in the white and stylish building. Water Coffee Cafe is situated along Wenqing Road of Guishan District in Taoyuan, above the Water Recycling Center of Wenqing Water Park. In a space filled with coffee aroma, visitors may forget this is a sewage treatment plant with underground equipment and smart operations. You may want to remove your mask when you enter and experience the charm of the sewage treatment. I call it charm. Many visitors are surprised when they first enter and wonder why it's not like a usual sewage treatment plant, as there's no smell at all. The entire Water Reclamation Center has an automated continuous monitoring system. All the equipment signal and monitoring instruments here will be sent to the central control room. The staff are usually in the control room and operate remotely. The data will be automatically uploaded to the Environmental Protection Administration website every 5 minutes. The reclaimed water from the sewage treatment can be used for industrial purposes. Despite the high cost, many enterprises still wish to fulfill their social responsibilities by signing the reclaimed water purchase contract. The kind action of the enterprises of Cherish Water Resources is like buying insurance against drought, covering them from the unaccountable losses during shutdowns due to water shortage. This year, 2021, the drought causes Shimen Reservoir's water level to drop to the bottom. A sudden rain will stir up the mud in the reservoir, and the turbidity of raw water also shoots up. The distribution due to inconsistent water supply will affect the entire process. The supply of reclaimed water is endless. As long as there is domestic water use, there won't be a lack of reclaimed water. Companies which value corporate social responsibilities are normally caring too. Installation of smart underground water meters helps the Water Affairs Unit obtain information of the volume of underground water. During water shortages, it can be used for emergency dispatch. With the electromagnetic water meter, after passing through the flow meter, it will be passed to this transmitter and sent to the Department of Water Resources through Wi-Fi signals. Weather is unpredictable, and extreme climates cause droughts as well as floods. During a disaster, massive information comes from all directions. To keep the dispatching unit from repeat sending of manpower, Taoyuan city government outsourced the development of a disaster prevention manpower dispatch app, similar to the food delivery apps such as Uber Eats and Food Panda. After compiling the information, it is sent to the on-duty personnel nearest the target, accepting the request, accurately directing personnel to the site. To reduce flooding, the water control project is a race against time. Taoyuan promotes the management of the entire watershed, taking into consideration upstream, midstream, downstream, and the surroundings. By adopting a delicate technique and without affecting aviation safety, the anti-flood standard of Puxin River, which passes through Taoyuan Airport, is raised to a return period of 100 years. To solve the decades-long recurrent flood problem of Dongmen River, Taoyuan city government broke down the barrier by cooperating with new Taipei city government in building a flood water retention basin, negotiated with Taiwan Railways Administration to allow the installation of box culverts under Taoyuan Lingkou Railway, and persuaded the National Defense to allow the water management team to enter the sensitive military zone to construct a floodway under the abandoned runway. Cross-region and cross-department cooperation successfully reduced the flooding problem in the heavily populated metropolitan area and the transportation hubs such as Taoyuan Railway Station. Most importantly, it protects Taiwan's Guishan Industrial Park, which generates an annual output of 600 billion new Taiwan dollars. Pavement flood monitoring stations are set up in the small alleys in Bada District's Reida village. Fixed water pumps and a 24-hour monitoring system are installed at the end of the lanes. As you can see, these are hotspots where Taoyuan has strengthened its protection.
虽然咱是查某较济，但是咱表现出来是无输查甫，对不对？所以讲，希望咱所有
Taoyuan city government counsels the public in learning about autonomous disaster prevention. Reida Village is an autonomous disaster prevention community with the most motherly love.
所谓的 Lightbound， 我们社区就是透过云端的科技模式在做防灾。
Among the autonomous disaster prevention communities, Zhongli's Shito village is the smartest. The volunteers here are all elderly. They're like the aromatic aged wine and are never too old to learn. They learn from the young on how to make use of LineBot, Taoyuan Autonomous Disaster Prevention Robot, to report disasters and incorporate their knowledge of the community and life experiences in the disaster prevention smart system. Among Taoyuan's autonomous disaster prevention communities, Shulin Village in Guanying, which emits the fragrance of lotus, stands out from the rest. Guanyin Lotus Pond is famous. Using the fallow lotus pond for flood retention is a very smart move. To drain the water, we press this manually until the 20-centimeter level. Before the typhoon arrives, this pipe can be placed lower so that water will be released from here to the drain. Can you see the drain here? When it rains, we can then retain some of the rainwater in the lotus pond. In times of flood, the lotus pond can be switched to the drought control or flood retention mode. In normal times, there are lotus and tilapia in the pond. Loofah is planted beside the pond to promote tourism. Taoyuan city government also counsels the community in setting up companies to sell disaster prevention agricultural products, raising their own funds for disaster prevention. Facing the challenges of extreme climate, the design of water control projects breaks from the tradition, synergizing the effects of drought control, flood retention, drainage, water purification, and recreation. Taoyuan city government also pushes itself to upgrade to a smart cloud-based government. To avoid flooding, Taoyuan's water resources team invited Taiwan's IT experts to formulate a strategy for effective flood control. With the urban flood forecasting model and rainfall forecasts, the team anticipates possible flooding points and scope and thinks of ways to create advanced disaster prevention measures.
比起图台，经过我们的3T 的模拟，目前淹水的热区会出现在中立、平镇、八等。
针对各淹水点，预布抽水机，水门要进行防汛启闭，赤红池及皮塘要预放水。
High-tech water control is a method. In facing nature, we need to learn from water. Lao Tzu uses water as a metaphor for a virtuous person. Water nourishes all things, benefits all living beings, does not compete with others, and is humble. Taoyuan people treat water control humbly and aim for ecological harmony. During the interview, the water control team mentioned that nature knows best if the water control is effective. After trees are planted, the birds return. After planting the flowers and plants, the butterflies are back too. The blooming of flowers will attract the butterflies. Talents will not be left undiscovered. Taoyuan's water control project is fun and beautiful and retains its local characteristics. Welcome to the city of 1,000 ponds to savor the taste of Taiwan water. The best of man is like water, which benefits all things and does not contend with them, which flows in places that others disdain, where it is in harmony with the way.